Can you hear the video in the background? That's Candace Owen. Candace Owens. Owen. Is it Owen or Owens? It's Candace. So it's this interview she had with this guy from The Roommates. I ran into them on YouTube. Whenever you listen to Candace, she's always spitting like facts and truth, and it's just so inspiring to see a young woman, speak the truth and not her truth. Like, I mean, listening to her is so inspiring and so motivational, right? It's like, it just gives me hope. I feel like, wow, so like there's still hope somehow to get. And I wanted to just do this quick video because I wanted to say something about people who don't like Candace, right? So people who don't like Candace, or people that I've met or had conversations with who had one or two reservations about her, it's always about the tone in which she spoke, or being judgmental and blah, 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 blah. The truth is, this is a young woman who is doing something about the decaying state of the culture. She's written a book. She's had her podcasts. She's been on PragerU. She's currently working with Daily Wire. She has her show. And somehow you're just not happy because she says certain things certain ways and how she should say it nicer. Or are you serious? Now the truth is, it's very unfortunate that the society has become so soft, and it's annoying that we have become so soft when it comes to moral, but then we're so rigid when it comes to immorality. Like, I don't understand it. People want you to show empathy, and all of that, when it has to do with some sort of ridiculous immorality or some sort of something that is just wrong. But then when it comes to when people are trying to impose their immorality on you, do you speak your truth? Nobody talks about compassion or sympathy or anything. And I'm like, and it's even funnier when people try to relate that with the Bible and Jesus being compassionate and all of that. And I'm always like, I wish you guys knew more about what the Bible really talked about, or what the Bible really was about, right? So don't just pick and choose and pick compassion and love, and the love that the Bible preaches is not the kind of love that so many people have, the perverted love that the world preaches. So like I just had to make this quick video, which I know that some of you may just be very upset with, because I just realized that people just, it's crazy. I mean, I have so many things I would love to say, but when I just think about how, man, I really don't, because the honest truth is, my priority is Christ, and that's the annoying thing with or that's the tricky thing about Christianity sometimes, because I believe that Christians should be involved in politics, should be involved in education system, I believe Christians should be involved in the decision making parts of society, right? But the truth is, sometimes it's very tricky because I'm a very opinionated person, right? And I'm trying not to hurt people, because my priority, like I said, is Christ. Like, my priority is to make Christ known, to tell people about the love of Christ. So it's difficult sometimes towing that path, and also towing the path of moral, let's say moral justice, or moral rejuvenation in the society. I don't know, like, because if I had to stand for high moral principles, a lot of people will misunderstand me, a lot of people will get offended, right? So and it's sad, because that's what the society has that's the society we live in today, because people don't want you to, everything, like Candace said something about everything is subjective all of a sudden, so if I ask you now, is it okay to sleep with someone's husband, it becomes subject. Well, if you feel like it, well, if you were if you were in some sort of emotional trauma, and people just find somehow it's wrong, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to judge you if you found yourself in that kind of situation, and but is it wrong? It is wrong, right? So it's funny that and then so everything has become an emotional roller coaster. Everything has to be seen from an emotional point of view, like how you feel, how it makes you feel. If society had to run on emotions, it is going to be so unsustainable, because our emotions are very fickle, our feelings are very fickle, right? So I like what I mean, if you could go on YouTube and look for the roommates and then check out the interview she had, it was just amazing. It was loaded, right? I mean, I'm so proud of Candace Owens, even without knowing her personally. And she's not, because that's another thing people think, because you try to fight the moral decay doesn't make you a perfect person, right? You still have your struggles, but a fight is a fight, right? So this is a woman speaking out, speaking the truth, and trying to fight for the future of most of our kids. She said something else about people saying you're the only one who has the power to raise your kids. It's very ridiculous, because how many of you know where your kids are? Like, if your kids are in primary school or in secondary school or in university, even in nursery or whatever, you can really never. I mean, in the Igbo now, I can't remember how it was until it's a community that raises a child. So it is that you can only do your best and pray that God will help you. But most of the times you cannot really, and they get to a stage where they have to make their decisions for themselves. So what happens when a society becomes totally morally decayed and your kids have to grow in that society? Don't you think it will be difficult for them to make good moral decisions, because they grow into it and immorality becomes the norm? Do you get? So I don't like when people pretend that this is not really an issue, or people pretend that it's not that bad. It is really, really bad. Let me tell you, the only thing that consoles me. The only thing that consoles me is that heaven is my home, heaven is my home, heaven is my home, and I wish to be there. My home, 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 and I wish to be there. No more sorrow, no more weeping. Heaven is my home, and I wish to be there. Shout out to Fedi girls, yes, Federal Government College girls. Oh, where we rock. Anyways, so that is the only thing that consoles me, that heaven is my home and whatever is happening here won't last forever. That's honestly because it gets to a point you really have to hold on to something more tangible. You can't hold on to it. As in, like, I don't even know how to explain it. And yes, you might say, so I mean, I pray for my friends, I pray for the society, I pray for America, I pray for Nigeria, I pray for the I pray for countries and continents and societies. And honestly, I try to do my best. Like, I literally have to pray and ask God to just help me, because okay, the other day about Meghan Markle, man, like, I have to be very honest with you people. Like, my arsenal is even loaded with more things I wanted to, like, oh my goodness, like, I was so pissed. And being pissed doesn't mean that I don't like her, like I said. It doesn't mean that I hate her. Like, you do understand? So I'm sorry I keep making reference to this. I keep making reference to it because for some reason it happens to be a very good reference point or something to just, I don't know, but you get. So I'm trying to say that, but I had to soft pedal because a lot of people were misunderstanding. A lot of people were becoming very emotional. And like I said, I'm still happy to see that there are still women who, or even men, and even men who hold the same, opinion on these things, but somehow they don't just want to share because of the same way people will just come at them and think that they're either being insensitive or they are being unfair or they lack empathy and all that's ridiculous. So it's crazy when everything has. Listen, I believe in compassion. I believe in love. God was very compassionate. Christ was very compassionate. He was very kind and gentle and humble and all those things, right? But remember that Christ was also, when he went into the temple and they were selling things, did you see how furious he was? Imagine if Jesus went in and was like, don't do this. Jesus had his moments. Because so what I'm trying to say is that there are certain things that truly require some sort of rigid opposition or rigid condemnation, and you're condemning the act, not the person, right? That's why I said I asked the question about what does it really mean to be judgmental, and I came to the conclusion that the truth is, because being judgmental means probably criticizing somebody or speaking ill of someone because you feel you're better than the person. That's what it means to be judgmental typically. So I feel like it's only God that can really tell who is being judgmental or not, because I might be condemning an act innocently and I'm not condemning you. People might misunderstand me, but it's only God that sees my heart. I know that, okay, I don't hate this lady, and I don't mean to judge her or write her off. I'm only condemning the act, what she has done. Do you get? So, but we live in a society where everybody is just very sensitive. People want to be mad and be accepted. People want to be crazy and be accepted. I mean, do you realize that sometimes, just the same way you might, how will I say it now? Tolerance is not a very easy thing. Like, it's something that we should preach. People should be able to tolerate one another, irrespective of gender, political affiliation, whatever, right? But then tolerance sometimes, like, it depends on the tension or the circumstances, because it's like, okay, it's like maybe it's like I don't like, let me imagine that I don't like what will I say? I mean, this is sometimes very difficult to just explain. But anyways, back to what I was trying to say. I was like, I started from Candace Owens, and I'm like, the way she addresses these cultural, this cultural war going on in America, and the way some people take offense and look at her Twitter banter with Cardi B, and the things that Cardi B was able to raise against her were just simply ridiculous. Like, it just shows you the level of moral decay we've gotten to. And when I say this moral decay, honestly, it doesn't mean that anybody is, like I said, it doesn't mean that anybody is better off. I want to say something. We all have our crazy sides. We all do crazy, ridiculous things. Now, there's a difference between when you want to be crazy, do that in your home or do that in your space. But when you begin to project these abnormalities or project these immoralities and try to impose it on society and normalize it, it's wrong. That is my also. I will not, if what I say, there's no kind of crime or atrocity or immorality that you want to say now that will make me shock. No. I believe some of us have been exposed to a lot of perversion that we didn't have a choice but to be part of such perversions and all of that. So I'm not going to judge you for the kind of life you've lived or the kind of life you're living, or but I don't expect when you come out to now try to impose that lifestyle to society, because you chose that, because you made that decision for yourself, because doesn't mean you should not impose the entire society to accept it. And it's funny because you will see someone that will still bring the argument of, well, it's the same thing with maybe the morally upright when they make certain morally acceptable decisions and bring it forth. Then that's when you now know that, I mean, it's now terrible, because it's just simple. It's just like saying that if stealing just becomes subjective. It depends. If the person stole because he really didn't have any money, it's okay. They should be. When you now start, making everything subject, because the truth is, stealing is wrong. Is wrong. Taking someone else's thing is wrong. It's wrong. You shouldn't promote it. You shouldn't encourage it. Now, should you have mercy on the person who has stolen? Yes. Which having mercy is the decision of the authority that is involved at the moment, right? So if you, like I always say, if you were my jurisdiction, I will probably sympathize with you and have mercy with on you, give you a warning and let you go. But I don't expect everybody to do the same. But the truth is that act of stealing has to be condemned and discouraged, right? So you can't come and now start saying the person stole under conditions of this. You can't do. So it's the same thing with sexual immorality and sexual perversion of any sort. Whether you choose to accept it's a perversion or not, it's crazy. That's not the way it has always been. And yes, progressives, it doesn't always have to be the way it has always been. Well, why do you have to change anything about, go and watch that video. Why do you have to Why do women have to all of a sudden become so tough, like they're fighting with the whole world, and men become so soft to the extent that you see men wearing dresses? And like, why is that switch? Like, is it even necessary? Do you get? So there's just so many sides to these things, and I look at America today and I'm just like, I pray for America. Like, there are two things going on. There's this political, I don't know what to call it, but there's the political aspect and there's the cultural aspect, which I believe is still interrelated. But then, the cultural aspect, it's down into families and homes and the education system, and it's just crazy, right? So I just wanted to rant this night, right? I was watching the video. I didn't even finish. I just came in from front of my camera because I was like, I think I said this sometime. I'm like, see, I'm from heaven, but I'm from the south side of heaven, so be properly guided, like, because some people just think you're a Christian and then you're so soft. If I really had to go all out and express myself the way I really felt about certain things, I would end up being misunderstood, which is not the goal, which is not what I intend to achieve in the end, right? But I just keep asking God to give me the grace to be able to speak the truth, not my truth, because truth is not relative. Truth is truth. If you want to say your story, tell your own part of the story, tell your story, tell your life experience. But truth is truth. Truth is truth. The truth is not relative. So I pray to God to give me the grace to speak the truth confidently. Do you understand? With humility, with love. But the truth is, no matter how subtle you want to sound, people will still misunderstand you any which way. Do you get? So I really pray that God will help me, because I love Candace Owens. I love what she's doing. She's not a perfect human being. She probably has her own struggles and flaws and all of that. But I applaud what she's doing. I think she should be a role model for so many young women. Right, so it's very enviable. And let me be honest, it was my husband that actually introduced me to her. See, listen, let's be honest, like, you can't make these things up. Like, for my husband to see some virtue in her and recommend her to me, do you understand? So even the men see these things. So these things, because everybody knows what is good and what is bad. You see, if you want to be crazy and do crazy things, fine. But don't think that because you want to do crazy stuff, all of a sudden crazy stuff should be accepted as good. No. Do you get? So my husband because my husband knew, I mean, we're both involved in politics. We both have like political affiliations and all of that. So during the whole Trump period, he was like, I should go and check out Candace Owens, that she's really good, that he knows I was gonna like her, and me, I was forming who is this person that I'm going to like, but he just kept recommending her to me. And one time I just checked her out and I fell in love with everything. Like, how you're watching somebody, and because me, trust me, hey, because these days the truth is so twisted these days that you can see someone that is making sense, but somehow they will still find a way to impute some sort of perversion all in the. So I was just listening to her carefully and like, let me see where she's going. Like, do you get? So I started following her and and all of that, and I was like, wow, like, I'm like, this is me in another body. Like, when you just see yourself in another person. Do you understand? So this is just me in another person. And funny enough, both of us even have some things in common as regards marriage and all that. But see, don't mind, I'm always throwing that out. But so I was like, I was like, wow. Like, how you just know how you know that you're not. I feel like I'm not really doing what I think I should be doing as regards being, active and out there, and then you see someone that is doing the exact thing that somehow you wish you were doing. I'm like, babe, I'm all for you. Like, I'm rooting for you. Like, I'm all out for you, right? So in fact, people around me just know me. Everybody's like, so one of my friends even reached out to me and said, Candace replied my message, and I'm like, that's cool, because I mean, she's an amazing woman. I don't think I have anything against her, right? Doesn't mean she's perfect, like I said, but I mean, I love what she's doing, and it should be encouraged. And for every people that keep trying to cling to the racist card and everything, she's impacting both the black, white, Latino societies, you know, because you see people that her fans are a blend of mixed race and all that. So it has nothing to do with race or anything. She's married to a British guy, like, like she will, I think so. I think she'll ask this question. I mean, if you are going to raise your daughter, how would you want who would you like your daughter to, like, what kind of role model? Like, so so sometimes when you want to do stuff, you don't think about, like me now, I have a daughter. I think about her. I think about the decisions she's going to have to make. Like, she's going to have to make them by herself, nevertheless. But I mean, it's my own responsibility to guide her. So when I look at what is going on around the world, it doesn't matter how crazy I want to be. When I remember her, I have to soft pedal. Do you get? So a lot of things come into consideration when you begin to think about the next generation. That is why life is not about us. Life could never be about us. Life is about God. And even if we need to come down to human level, it's not just about you. It's about family. It's about friends. It's about your kids. So even if you want to be crazy, even if you think being naked is okay, think about the long-term effects. Think about the effect it's going to have on the young kids, even the men, the boys. They will grow up to think this is a norm. And maybe if their wives become decent, you know, these things have a lot of implications. Nobody's saying don't be yourself. Everybody's always like, be yourself, do whatever you want to do. I'm just trying to say that I think we all have some sense of morality in all of us. We know we know right and wrong somehow. Do you get? So even if, because we all know right and wrong, but sometimes we want to just be crazy. So even if you want to be crazy, like, can you just do you in your home or something? Don't try to push it and expect everybody to be the same way or accept you for your craziness. And you know, it's just all over the place. And like I said, I pray that God will help me to be able to address these issues in a humble and a loving and a less judgmental way, because the truth is, I really never ever mean to judge anyone. I'm not any better, but I feel like there should be more people speaking up for moral justice, people promoting morality. It is not outdated. There's nothing progressive about morality. Morality is morality. There's nothing progressive about it. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. It shouldn't become subjective all of a sudden. So I like I said, I applaud Candace Owens, and I really encourage women to go and follow her, watch her. I mean, do you get? So you don't have to like copy everything she's doing or become a replica of who she is. But I believe I believe there are things you're going to be able to learn from her. Do you understand? So yeah, I just thought to do this quick video, which is already like 22 minutes into the video, and like I said, I just wanted to rant. Because like I said, if I really have to go, like Candace is learning work. If I really like, I was in the debating society back in secondary school. Some of you know. Do you get? Like in uni, I was the SCG president. Like, so when it comes to things like this, like if I really want to go all out, I won't even like, I will just go all out. But like I said, sometimes you choose your priorities. Like I said, Christ is my priority. I'm not saying that for people like Candace, Christ is not their priority, right? But I mean, I pray for her, and you know, I'm happy for her, and I'll keep praying for her that God will help her to get. But we are all on a different path, right? So I'm not just going to just jump in and just do something because, you know, because somebody else is doing it. So I believe that perhaps somehow God will be able to use me to still, you know, to still do something in a different way. So it's more like I'm just totally surrendering myself to God and asking God to just help me and use me in the most productive and the most godly and decent way. You know, DCJ woman means decent, confident, and Jesus driven. So everything I'm doing has to be Jesus driven. If it's not Jesus driven, then I'm missing it somewhere. So I mean, because people just come out and talk about, if you're not canvassing for this, you're not a Christian. Are you serious? People just know how to intimidate each other on social media and everything. There are so many things that you're not doing, and I haven't called you out for not being a good Christian, but let's leave that part. So I believe we're all on different paths in life, right? But I mean, of course, the path that leads to eternal life is Christ Jesus. And I always encourage people to experience God for themselves, accept Christ as your Lord and Savior, give him a chance. Like, just, even if you've been a Christian before, even if you've given your life to Christ before and backsliding, even whatever it is your journey has been like, I always encourage people to give Jesus a chance in your life. Like, it can never go wrong. Like, it can never go wrong. So as long as you're on the path to life, like as long as you're on the same page with Christ, just surrender yourself and he would lead you on the path that you should follow. Somewhere, I think it's this Psalm or Proverbs that says, I will trust in the Lord with all my heart. I will lean not on my own understanding. In all my ways, I will acknowledge him and he will guide my path. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I may think I know a lot of things, or I know this and that, or how to do this and that, but like I said, I will trust in the Lord with all my heart and lean not on my own understanding in all my ways, so including my political analysis, including my hair business that I love so much, including my medical career, whatever it is. I would not lean on my own understanding. In all my ways, I will acknowledge him and he will lead my path. So yeah, I wanted to just throw that out there, and thank you for thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video. I mean, when people say like this video, as if, what if I don't like the video? Like, do I have to like this? So, well, you really don't have to like the video, but if you think the video was cool, if you enjoyed it, please like the video, share the content if you think that you want people to hear or hear what I've said. And yeah, please support me in any way that you can. And yeah, like I always say again, if you got to this part of the video, you're the real MVP. Thank you for supporting my channel. Yeah, see you in my next video. Bye.